Yo, 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 what's going on, people? Beans and Rice is your boy host Beefy, aka Jose, the vanquisher of fierce. I don't even know what that means. But Beans and Rice, only a bean or only one rice today. Happy Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday, July 13th. And it's the 13th. You know, they say that's an unlucky number, but on it to Tuesday cancels everything out. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. As you can see, no host or no Javi. Hey, it's Javi. So I took down his stuff. I was gonna take that what is that? No division out a little bit, but you know what? We'll let it pass this time. But hopefully we had a good weekend. Hoss, he's actually on vacation. As a gentleman, he's been probably on the podcast. I think he said it like the last 3 weeks. He's going to go pounding and hounding. You know, war on hounds for pounds. But now he's going to do pounding and hounding. So hopefully that works out with him. You know what I mean? Because he went out to Florida. That's the rumor. Because he goes for the Miami Dolphins. You know, who wants to go to Florida right now? He got his tickets on sale because of Hurricane Elsa or whatever, you know? So hopefully you're having fun, host. Hopefully you watch the episode, dude. Just because you're not on the episode, hopefully, you know, you still have to watch it, dude, okay? And then, of course, right, Javi. And the only reason we're letting Javi slide is because we're trying to get Cynthia on the podcast so we can interview a pregnant lady. So, Cynthia, I hope you have a good vacation, right? I thought it was going to be a vacation of only you and Javi. That's what he said, that it was only going to be you two, that there was going to be no kids allowed. Next thing I know, I'm watching videos of only the kids. So, yeah, enjoy it, Javi, okay? Because you're just... you know, you're just walking on thin ice right now, buddy. But again, hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Shout out to Dre for coming out on the podcast last week. Hopefully you guys listened and you guys had fun. And hopefully you get a little bit more people on the podcast here coming soon. And look, at this point, as long as Javi or a host shows up, I'll be surprised. Well, Javi, you know what I mean? He's basically, Javi's starting to be the guest on the podcast, I feel like, you know? First we give him a job and he's scared, and you know, now he gets super cocky, and you know, now he's calling in all the time. He wants paternity leave, and you know, he had the vasectomy and now he needs a vacation. No notice, just dropped it on me today. So yeah, hopefully you guys listen like the episode with Dre. We actually hung out with him a little bit to watch the fight, so I appreciate that. He was very nice. He got Javi because we were roasting him for ordering a salad, and he, you know, he gets Javi his salad. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna make you a salad." Well, what do you like, Javi? Are you a picky guy? What does Javi say? No, I like everything. Most interesting man on earth, dude. And you know, what are the ingredients? You know, it's got chicken, it's got, you know, beets, it's got vegetables, it's got ranch. Oh, it's got blue cheese. I don't like blue cheese. So right there, Javi didn't like blue cheese. Can you believe that? Insulted a man offering him a salad after he told him he'll eat anything. And I don't know what you guys were talking about, Dre. Okay, I'm looking at you. Hopefully I'm looking at you right now. I don't know what you were telling Javi or Hoss, because all of a sudden the first time we went over to your podcast, Hoss went missing, right? Well, no, Javi got a vasectomy. And then he was gone for a month. And then, you know, we hang out on Saturday. Now both my employees are gone. So hopefully, you know, you're not trying to steal my employees over here, dude. Okay, I got 2 employees. Well, 1 employee, you know. Host is the other host. But now we invite you to the talent table, and now you're trying to take the talent, you know, the talent with you. So come on, dude. So hopefully you're not trying to do that, or else I'm going to be coming for your boy Angel. Or Angel, because that guy, you know, he's a little pervert. But he was really nice. He was cool too, Angel. And look, you know what's so funny? I don't claim to be super Mexican. Obviously, you know, I'm Mexican. But when another Mexican says, I'm more Mexican than you, and that's what happened. You know, he was, I'm more Mexican than... you know, then it almost became you know, it became like a battle, you know. So, oh, what can you do? Can you make tamales? Oh, can you make tortillas? How good can you scrub a toilet, you know? Oh, you know how to make a piñata. What else do Mexicans do? Oh, you know how to fit 20 people in a car. You know, he's like, dude, I can fit 24. You know, he's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, in a VW Bug. I was like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, yeah, you wouldn't know what that is because you know, you're young and you're beautiful. Is what he told me. So I'll take it as a compliment. But it was pretty fun. It was a good day out. We saw El Diamante, the Diamond, Dustin. You know, he won, and then Conor McGregor, you know, obviously snapped his leg. I mean, you guys have probably seen it, but it was funny to watch it on the there on the well, at the bar, you know, because there was like a lot of people that were cheering for Conor, but they were like not cheering, you know, they were kind of quiet. A couple of them were, but there was like all these like, as soon as he lost, like so many people left and they were really mad, you know. And I had a hard time watching it because you know, I'm not really into the violence like that, but you got so into the fight, you know. Then I was going like this. I didn't know what was gonna happen, so that was fun. Stayed up to like 1. Yeah, so that was cool. But let's go to the national holidays. Make sure I stay in a little bit in the wagon today. And we're gonna look at the holidays. It's National French Fry Day. National French Fry. So, you know what? Didn't they say the French fry? Somebody invented it by accident, or was that the potato chip? You know, so they were cutting it, and then it fell into the, you know, it fell into the pan, and now you got a French fry. You know, and a French guy made it, dude. And French people, they get a lot of credit. Oh, you know, French cuisine, it's the best. It's the most magnificent thing in the world. Dude, they made a French fry. Back then, or maybe I think it's made in America. Hopefully it's made in America, dude. Because we eat it the most, I feel like. I think they call them chips over there, but how easy was it back then? If you guys think about it, like to make something, you know what I mean? Now you have to make a vaccine, or, you know, you have to, what do we have to invent now to have a chance? Oh, we have to you know, make an app. You have to be able to do teletransportation. You gotta you know, Amazon, you gotta deliver in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Back then, dude, oh, this guy, he thought he was making medicine, and it was tomatoes with sugar, and the tomatoes were too ripe, and now it's ketchup. You know what I mean? And now the guy's Heinz, and now the guy's like a billionaire. You know, or this guy made French fries. You know what I mean? He was probably trying to, you know, those things where you put the wood in there and kind of, not a sander, but you guys know what I mean? You put some wood in or something like that. You know what I mean? You're kind of sanding the wood or something like that. Like a wood carver. Yeah, he had like a wood carver. Carved the fry. And now, oh, I gotta, you know, oh, cook this. It's a French fry. And it's like the dumbest, you know, it's the dumbest invention. Like, okay, I'm sorry, white people, but let's be honest. What foods do you guys have? You know what I mean? And don't try to take Italian people's food, or, you know, other people's food. Like, what foods do you guys have? Oh, you guys got French fries. You know what I mean? And that's questionable. They might be French after all, you know? So what, you guys maybe have potato chips. And all these foods, like, it took you that long to think to fry a potato that's shaped like a square. You know what I mean? Dude. You know, like in other countries, like, for example, Mexico, you know, we're like stewing, we're combining all these herbs and stuff like that. Meanwhile, freaking, you know, Europeans, Christopher Columbus, dude, they're eating salted meat because, you know, it spoils too fast. They don't even know how to season it. They got to travel around the world to, you know, China. Marco Polo. They got to send Marco Polo across the Indian Ocean and stuff like that on an expedition to get salt and pepper. Because they couldn't, you know? Can you imagine probably like the Asians back then? Genghis Khan, who was, you know, there was probably a couple of famous Asian people over there, but probably Genghis Khan, probably, huh? But he was like, dude, look at these idiots. You know what I mean? We're going to give them a little salt and pepper. And they're going to give us gold. They're going to give us animals. Because they don't know about seasoning. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know. They have to travel all. Dude, you can grow oregano. Like, People give him so much credit. Oh, the Renaissance. No, you're painting and the Mona Lisa. We've talked about the Mona Lisa here, but oh, Da Vinci, and he divided, the guy into. He looks like he's doing jumping jacks really fast. You know what I mean? The guy that goes like this, like the anatomy guy. Oh, Da Vinci made that. The guy, the butterfly effect. But they can't figure out how to season food, and now they take all the credit. You know what I mean? When Asians are the ones that gave them all the seasonings, because their food would spoil, and they would eat it all nasty. They would just put, pepper and other, paprikas or whatever in it. So, dude, get your act together. Figure out how to cook a food. French fries to celebrate. Nothing better than McDonald's French fries. You know what I mean? That's probably the only thing that when I go to McDonald's, I always love getting French fries. And I tried to go maybe only once a year, once or twice. Double cheeseburger, large French fry. You know what I mean? Because those are the best French fries, unless they're, kind of cold. Then horrible French fries. But yeah, let's see if we got any other. So we got French fries, and then we got National Beans and Franks. This podcast, Beans and Rice, way better. Beans and Franks. See, that's what I mean. You guys eat gross things. You want to celebrate National Beans and Franks Day? Like, dude. See, so we have beans and rice. We have beans and what else? Well, the French, they got the gumbo and jambalaya and stuff like that. But now that's you're gonna get mad. Now that's creation, or what is it? Crustacean. I think that's what they call it. It's crustacean. That means it's from Louisiana. That it's French from Baton Rouge. But who's gonna eat that? You know what I mean? Franks and beans, dude. And then people always say that Franks and beans, but no, we have rice and beans. Mexicans kind of have a Franks and beans, but it's with like hot dog. You throw your beans in there, and then you throw what else do you throw in there? You throw I think like pork. You throw a little bit of bacon, jalapenos, and dude, that stuff right there is good. They call them like rancher beans. See, but that sounds way better. Rancher beans. You're gonna get Franken beans, dude. Maybe that was like a food for the I was gonna say the Cold War, the Great Depression or something like that, but not a cool holiday. If you celebrate that, you probably need to check your cholesterol and your sodium. Maybe you need to get on Pounds for Hounds. We can get you in a little bit better of a diet. We also have National Delaware Day. That's not cool. The final one, look at that one, Cow Appreciation Day. Okay, and cow, we appreciate them so much, we eat them. Because in other countries, like I think it's India, right? Oh, we appreciate cows, but they're going to be gods and we're not going to eat them. Why wouldn't you want to eat a god? We're over here in America. Guess what we do, buddies? We eat gods every single day. Thousands of them. We make them into hamburgers, okay? We make them into steaks, into ground roast beefies. And I'm not sure if I told you guys, but I had this teacher, and if some of you guys went to school with him, maybe you remember him, but his name was Mr. Okerson or something like that. Okerson. And this guy, he had like I think it was like the first time I knew of a fetish. But this guy, he loved cows, and he had cow posters everywhere. So he had cow posters everywhere, and also like his stools, he had like his stools. Under the stool, it had little udders, so you could like milk his stool if you wanted to. You could go like this. So you'd do that, and he had just like cow everywhere, like a little border around his whole classroom. It was all cows. And then the sign with the cows, remember the one that says got milk, and it's got two cows that are like just looking at each other. And yeah, so that guy was kind of weird. But one time, we were talking, and it's like towards the end of the year when you're saying, oh, what are you gonna do, or what's your goal, or it's like the only time they're actually teaching you something. You know what I mean? Like asking you about your life or who you are as a kid, or what you aspire to be. The rest of the year, you're just like talking about freaking biology and how the human body works. Who wants to learn any of that? You know what I mean? So, he's asking us all these deep questions, and then we ask him, hey, so what's your dream day, Mr. Okeson? Or, what's like what would be the best day of your life? And, he's like, well, I would have to be in a convertible, and I would just have to be driving across the Great Plains, and it's nothing but fields, just, forever in the horizon. You can't see anything but fields, no stop lights, nothing. It's just like vast fields. And then, all of a sudden you come to a stop, and he's at the only stoplight, that's for miles. And I just happen to hit it. The light turns red, and I stop, and out of the grass, just starts to ruffle a little bit. Little rufflings. And I look around, and I stare, and I see this beautiful, brown-eyed cow. That's what he said, cow. Walk across the street, turn around, wink at me, and cross the rest of the road. That was his. Can you believe that? That was his dream, to have a cow wink at him. So hopefully that happened. You know what I mean? Now I think you can pay. They have those cows in Japan, I think. Where they like get them drunk and they like touch them. Dude, save the cows. See? We uncover so many things here. Oh, I like what is it? Kobe beef. I like that beef, Kobe beef. Or what, koji or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Oh, it's the best. It's most tender. But what do they do to the cows? Okay? They get them drunk. Okay? And then they touch them in places, right? And they don't let them walk. They don't let them walk. And they massage them. They play with their udders a little bit. So it just sounds like animal harassment to me. You know what I mean? A couple people touching animals. Maybe he could have just made those. He could go to Japan, touch cows. He doesn't have to drive through the Great American Prairie. I doubt that happens here in America. You're just gonna find a cow crossing the road. But if you go to Japan, you throw a little wine at the cow. Who knows? You know what I mean? There might be a lot of a lot of love that are involved with the cow, Mr. Okerson. So if you're maybe you're retired now, maybe you got the funds available to go, go to Japan, play with the cow. But any of other normal people here in America, don't do that to cows. But yeah, teachers are. Well, that was kind of weird. Don't you think so? You want to touch a cow? One time, this teacher wasn't touching himself. Well, and actually, dude, now that we're talking about teachers. Do you guys watch the show? I was watching just a little bit ago. I was watching the Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior. Okay, and dude, it's like now. Before it was just like kind of adults, you know what I mean? And now they got like teenagers, you know what I mean? And like they're like, oh, this is 8-year-old Matthew McKinley from Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, and he's like, hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, I've been training for this moment, and you can tell it's just like kids that they picked up from, like a school, you know what I mean? Like an elementary. Because, dude, we were all good at monkey bars. And I think we might have had this conversation before. Like, we were all good at monkey bars back in school. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, you weigh like 100 pounds. So everybody's chicken fighting, everybody's jumping across, you're jumping off slides, you're doing whatever you can. But now they have these kids, right? And now they're on American Ninja Warrior. And then, dude, you should see the judges on American Ninja Warrior, dude. Do you think they got other kids judging them? Do you think they got maybe influencers judging them? No, think again, dude. They got perverts. They got geography teachers that are judging them. You know what I mean? They're like the total bros. Like, do you guys have those type of geography teachers for world studies, or they were like all coaches? You know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna learn about Gandhi today, and you didn't learn anything. You remember those? And they were always like, oh, I'm also the part-time. What else would they be? Part-time driver said. I'm also part-time football. I'm part-time wrestling. You know what I mean? But I'm also geography teacher, bro. And they were always like, they would always try to be cool, and you know what I mean? Those guys. So they got those perverts. Basically, dude, it's like I don't know, dude. It looked like TikTok. Maybe like, how they say, oh, TikTok when it started, they're like, oh, it's like a bunch of sexy kids. You know what I mean? Now it's like American Ninja Warriors. It's like a bunch of sexy kids. Hey, I'm just saying, dude, I wouldn't have made it to American Ninja Warrior when I was a young child. That's all I have to say. But maybe young Tarzan or little Tarzan. You guys remember that guy? Or little Hercules? That little guy that had like a 30 pack when he was like 12? That guy could be on there. So who else could be on there? Elizabeth Smart. You could probably have Mary Kay and Ashley. Macaulay Culkin. What other kids would be on there? You could have iCarly before, she came back and she was old. And then the blonde girl before she got all dirty. You could have had probably young Michael Jackson could probably be there. Malcolm in the Middle. Everybody hates Chris. They were on American Ninja Warrior. They also had what other kids? Billie Eilish. You know what I mean? So they got all these kids, and all the grown-ups are just like watching them. Like the dude, and it's kind of creepy, dude. You watch it, and they're like, oh yeah, get it, oh yeah, swing a little harder, oh grab it harder, and then they're just like, they're making that face like, what are you doing? You're 40 years old. You know what I mean? What are you? Can you imagine? I don't even know. It's like, hey, if you're a parent, and just like out of context, like a 40-year-old came to your house, right? It's like, hey, can I borrow your kid? And you're like, for what? It's like, well, I saw him playing in the playground, and he's like really, really strong, and he's really good at, he's really good at chicken fighting, and he's really good at jumping through the monkey bars, and can we borrow him for maybe like 3 hours, and we're just going to we have this giant basement that has an obstacle course, and it's got water, so he'll be properly hydrated, and he can get wet, and he doesn't need to wear he doesn't need to bring any extra clothes, by the way, but he's just going to be jumping on all these courses, inner courses that I made for him. Is it okay if I borrow your kid? Would you, as a parent, let them take your kid? Huh? Probably not, dude. I wouldn't. So those parents, dude, that's bad parenting, dude. And then you wonder, it's like, why your kid's all messed up. Well, you let him go on American Ninja Warrior. Okay, and he's hanging out with football coaches. And dude, football coaches aren't even real geography teachers, dude. They're only good because they probably played sports when they were kids too, right? And then they travel to different states. So just because they know like 20 states and they know the capitals because they played and they watch football and they know like the football and basketball teams, now they can teach geography, dude. And then you guys are getting mad because, people don't want to do the preamble anymore. People don't love the country. Well, dude, maybe if the people that were our teachers left the country, and weren't perverts or, more concerned about American Ninja Warrior, maybe we would say the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I mean? Maybe if you got like an immigrant doing world studies or geography or, U.S. studies or whatever it's called, maybe, just maybe, they would show a little bit more appreciation for America. You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty fair, but then people would get mad. You got all these, Mexicans, dude, teaching our kids about our country. Rawr, you got these dang immigrants telling, so maybe that would happen. And maybe some parents would be cool, but you guys saw that they, it was like Juneteenth, and they're like, let's celebrate it being a holiday. But they're like, hey, but we're going to ban any black, history or anything being shown or, in class, so you can't talk about Aunt Jemima anymore or, Harriet Tubman. You can't talk about them anymore. So, yeah, so everybody's like celebrating, but then at the same time, it's like, yeah, but we don't really want to do anything with that. We're just going to make it sound cool for the holiday. But one time, dude, I'll tell you this, dude. One time I was in one of my geography teachers, he was cool, dude. Mr. G. I don't know if I can say his name because the story's kind of weird. But Mr. G. So he was like he was a cooler guy, because that's like the thing. Yeah, they're perverts and stuff, but they're cool. You know what I mean? And so we had this guy, Mr. G, Mr. Gross. We'll call it that because his name almost sounded like Mr. Gross. And one day, dude, like I was always bad because like in one of my last years of high school, I only had art classes my senior year. And I only had like one normal class, and it was like geography and maybe math, but I never won a math. And dude, so I would always forget my bag, right? I always forget my backpack and my books. Remember back then you had to bring the textbook, and I would always forget it in my art classes, and then go to his class unprepared. I don't have a pencil. I got nothing. So he was a cool guy. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be accountable. So I'm going to bring my stuff early in his class. I'm just gonna bring my backpack in, and I'm just gonna put it in his in his room. That way, when I'm done with all my classes, I think he might have been my last class for the day. It's like that way when I'm done with all my art classes, I just go in there and my stuff's already there. I don't have to worry. I don't have to get it dirty or anything like that. And so that's me. And I had my PlayStation Portable and everything, right? So uh it's 6 in the morning whenever school started back then, super early. And I go from I walk over to his class and nobody's there. It's like all dark. And there was like a couple of kids that were in the outside, and nobody was in there. So I just kind of waited there for a little bit. I thought it was weird. And like what is it, like the vice principals or whatever, like the other people that are kind of principals, like they come over, open the room. A couple kids go in. I go, his desk was kind of like, if you just walk straight from the door, just keep walking straight. His desk was just like straight across from the door, pretty far to the back. And then he had kind of like another desk on the side of that, and I went and put my backpack and my coat. So I went and put those over there to, on the back. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be good. I put him there, tucked away in the back desk against the wall. I go to my art class, right? So I go to my art class, and dude, it's I don't know, maybe it's been like 2 periods, or 1.5 periods. And then I think, holy crap, I left my PSP, PlayStation Portable, handheld portable system, in my backpack. So I'm thinking, oh, somebody's gonna steal it. You know what I mean? I just left it there in my backpack like an idiot. I didn't even think of that part, dude. I literally just, in the morning, I was just more proud of myself for uh going and putting my stuff in there to be ready than even thinking that I had my PlayStation in there. And so I go back straight into the class, right? And I get there, and it was open because obviously I've put my stuff in there. But now I go to open the door, locked. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, what the heck's going on? Maybe they're watching a movie, And then I'm not sure if your guys' school were like our school, but they have a little window like this. It's just like a little, so you can kind of creep in there. And so I'm trying to see if maybe they're watching a movie. No movie. There's like completely dark. Nothing's in there. And I try to, because you just got the little window like this, so you can look straight like this through the window. But I try to go like this. You know what I mean? Try to get with your eye, that angle, like your left eye, RIP. Just trying to like sneak in an eye to see if somebody was like on this side of your peripheral where you couldn't see. And I was like, well, maybe he's correcting homework or something. It's his free period. You know what I mean? So nothing. So I just keep knocking. I don't know what it was, but I just like keep knocking. And like I said earlier, straight across from the door is his desk. And all of a sudden, right when I'm about to give up from knocking, I see a little ruffling under the desk. And do you guys remember too, like the desk only had like a small, like a space, under. It had like a little space. And I see a little bit of ruffling down there. I'm like, oh, dude, what's going on? You know what I mean? So now I'm kind of focused. And then hair starts to pop out. And it was like, no, see, I got like a little bit bigger curls, but it was like really small and curly. Like, I always say, like Elaine from Seinfeld. You guys remember that lady? Elaine from Seinfeld. So some of that hair, super curly, starts to like pop out of the top, and I'm like, dude, somebody's here, right? I'm gonna get my stuff. And then boom, a lady pops out of there. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And the lady gets up and she starts walking my direction. And you guys aren't gonna believe it, dude. But the lady starts walking my direction, and she was wearing kind of like a little vest, and under the vest it was like a white, like a button up. But dude, her boob was like over her bra, right? And it was like you could see it, like her nipple and her boob through the through her white shirt, you know? So like I think she like put on her bra really fast, but like her boob was still missing this one. It was like it was just like out there, you know? So I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm looking at a boob." You know what I mean? So she opens the door, and this is her. She's like, I mean, not like that, but hopefully you guys can hear that. She's like breathing really heavy. Hey, hey, can I help you? And dude, everybody says, "Oh, you know, it'd be so hot to make out with a teacher that's hot." And you know, she was pretty good looking, but dude, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. You know, she's like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "I am so sorry." I told her, it's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I just walked into this." I was just like shocked, you know. I don't know. I couldn't even be a pervert, you know what I mean? But it's like, "I'm so sorry I walked into this." I'm like, I'm just scared. I'm like, I left my backpack over there in the back. I just need to go get it. And I start walking towards the end of the, towards the end of the room, towards the desk where she was just, where she emerged out of, right? And she runs straight by where the desk is and kind of blocks it for me to see what's kind of like behind the desk. And I'm like, I'm just here for my backpack. I got it. It's right here. And I asked her, I was like, I'm about to head out, right? And I'm like, by the way, have you seen a jacket? And she's like, no, no. And I look across the room and see if it was there, but I knew it wasn't. You know, I was trying to play dumb, and I turn around and I was like, well, okay, I'll come back in another, I'll come back another time or something like that. And I turn around, dude. Guess what? Where my jacket was, dude? She was using it as a mat. Okay, and I see my jacket, and then I look down by her crotch. It was unzipped, dude. Okay, there might have been a little evidence of little splash action, a little raging water. But I just left it at that, dude. I was like, all right, have a good day. And I just left with my PSP, right? So this lady, dude, she was a substitute teacher. She was fingering herself on top of my jacket, dude. That's the only possible, because it was in a nap, okay? People have told me, oh, well, maybe she would say, no, her tit was out. She was playing with her tit. And then her zipper over here was like, you know what I mean? Like down and stuff like that. And it was like, there were a couple watermarks. And then she's using my jacket as a mat, and she's panting, and her boobs out, and she's, hey, can I help you? You know what I mean? Nobody's sleeping. What kind of dream was she having? Okay. So that was creepy. Now that I realize that's an adult, it's like, oh, could have been like this guy. She's like, oh, I wish I could hook up with a teacher. Now that I think of it, I was like, dude, maybe I could hook up with a substitute teacher, but dude, it's a substitute, okay? Go big or go home. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, how weird, right? And then I told that geography teacher, I was like, I didn't even know how to, dude, because I was nice. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't gonna pretend that I was like also like, oh, she now I saw somebody finger themselves or panting, or I saw a boob. I'm traumatized for life. But so I didn't know how to go about it. So I told my geography teacher, I was like, hey man, it's like so, yesterday with that substitute dude, I was like, I think she was like jerking off, or fingering herself or something down there. And he's like, dude, what are you talking about? So I tell him the story, right? And he's like, dude, no wonder. It's like, no wonder. It's like, I was wondering why the hell there was a jacket under my desk. You know what I mean? He just like trying to give me my jacket. I was like, dude, I don't want my jacket now. You know what I mean? So we left it there. And we had this little subtle joke. I told my teacher, I was like, hey, dude, I was like, I don't know if maybe you could only talk to her, or it's like, I just don't want her to lose her job. You know what I mean? Just because maybe she was like lonely. She was out there fingering herself. Like, I don't want her to lose her job. Now she doesn't have a job and she has to be like a creep, like just because I caught her jerking off. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not sure. I wouldn't tell the office, the principal, that this happened, but maybe you could tell her like, hey, dude, it's like maybe just watch it or be more careful, or jerk off at the restroom or something like that. But yeah, I told my teacher that, and I'm not sure what he did. I never asked him again, but uh, every time he would shake my hand, he would do like the thing, you know, where you shake and then he rubs you with your finger. He would rub my hand like that. Like, hey, you're getting fingered, you know? So he would do that. So it was like an inside joke. And isn't that crazy? Like, fingering became an inside joke between me and a teacher. And then he would do like, I gave him a cool sculpture once. It wasn't that cool, but it was a sculpture. And he would do jokes like, hey, Jose, ever since the you gave me this little sculpture, you know, I can't keep the ladies away from my desk or things like that, you know? So, yeah, that was all from a teacher. Substitute teacher that you know, she was jerking off. So hopefully you're doing fine. I'm not sure what her name was. Elaine. Did you guys ever catch any of your teachers, or do you guys have any weird teachers you know, that were perverts, or maybe they were creeps, you know? Or dude, how about like the people that did Woods? They all looked the same, you know, had like dirty blonde hair, and they always were kind of like mad, and you know what I mean? They always had a big nose, you know what I mean? It had like a Salem, you know, like they're from Salem. They got a really, you know, I say have a small nose, but they really had like a beak, you know, they like a vulture a little bit, you know. And then they had the electronics teachers. You guys remember those guys too? Like the electronics teachers, or the people that did drafting or something like that. They always had like glasses, you know what I mean? Really thick glasses, and they were super big, and they would always like, they would do something weird like this with their mouth, like, hey, today we're gonna learn, oh yeah, and they, you know, they like this, maybe they talk like that a little bit, you know. Or they had like if it was like an electronics teacher, they would have like maybe a lazy eye sometimes, you know, or they would have like a little bit of a twitch. You guys remember that? Did your teachers have that, or is it just Hunter High School, dude? Because I swear, like in Hunter Junior High, they had the same weird. Oh, this guy, you know, he got into teaching because he, you know, tried to plug in his TV and it shocked him, you know, and they would do that, you know. Well, the AC/DC, the voltage, it's reverse polarity, so the dual capacitors have to go through the generator and the mitochondria, you know. But that was our teachers, and dude, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But let's see, what else have we got? We got some we got some I think we got some advice, or not some advice. What is some unsolved mysteries of the internet? So we got this question that came in. That's what small but impactful change have you made to better your life? So again, that's what small but impactful change have you made to better your life? So you know, those are pretty good ones, because you know, you don't think, a lot of the times that we think of making something impactful, just the word impactful is just like seems like you have to do a lot to make like an impact, you know what I mean? Or impactful is just like a pretty strong word, I feel like, you know, your impact. Or you know, in Spanish you had to show primer impacto, impactful, and that was like, oh, you know, you're so impactful, first impactful, that's what it meant. I think that's what it meant, you know. And it was like the news, you know, and they had hot girls. But so I feel like impactful, you know what I mean? That could be sometimes maybe when you think of change or doing something to better yourself or something like that, you think that you have to do something drastic. You know, like right now we're doing Pounds for Hounds. Oh, you gotta lose weight, you know, you gotta go to the gym, you gotta exercise, you gotta eat good, you got to, you know, that's like more of something that's, you gotta change a lot of things for that, you know. But for me personally, I think one that I can think of just off the top for me is learning how to cook. So learning how to cook, I think for me that's probably been one of the most impactful things, because it's pretty small in the fact that you can do it at your pace, you know what I mean? Nobody has to, I mean, you don't have to be like a super good chef or anything, or you don't have to go to school or anything to make pretty good food. I mean, it's, you know, you can go on YouTube and there's chefs on there. But what's really nice about cooking is that, I mean, it kind of brings people together, right? Food. So that for me has probably been one of the most impactful, just because it's helped me learn not only how to cook, but how to eat better. You know what I mean? How to make like healthier choices, or I mean, it saves you in so many ways. Like you can save money from not eating out all the time, and you're not eating like fast food all the time, and cooking is just like nice because sometimes I feel like not a lot of people cook now. You know what I mean? So it's always like if you have friends at work or even just regular friends or family, you know what I mean? And it's always cool when it's like, oh, dude, can you cook? So I don't know. I just like getting asked to cook, or when people are like, oh, dude, I like your food. Um, you can have potlucks, or you can have barbecues, or you can make family dinner and stuff like that. So I think that for me, that was a small change that I made, was just learning how to cook. Cause I first, when I sold cars, I got pretty, dude. I got freaking host beefed up, dude. I was like pretty. I think I was like 35 pounds heavier than what I am right now, and I got on Weight Watchers. Shout out to Oprah, and that kind of helped me, I guess find out like, oh, you can't eat French fries, and or you shouldn't eat them as much, or chips and things like that, which are pretty self-explanatory. But that kind of helped me with that aspect, like more of like determined junk foods. But then I started doing one of those meal prepping, or the home cook kits. So I started doing Home Chef, and we used to do that. I think every week, probably for like a good year. I feel like, and when we did Home Chef, it was just like, oh, this is how you cook sides. You cook potatoes this way. It's got the thing that I struggled with the most was like side dishes and different spices and flavors. So I mean, I probably could have only done it for 4 months, and what was kind of fun is you kind of get the hold of how to cook, and what spices you know to use, and maybe what ingredients to substitute if you want to make something healthy. Um, so after I did that, like now I just like cook. I try to cook daily. I obviously eat out. I try to eat out maybe once a week, and but I try to eat at like an actual restaurant, and that's helped me a lot. Just almost kind of be a routine where I have to cook. You know what I mean? Or have to meal prep, cook, or go to the grocery store, and I don't know, not be a slob. You know what I mean? So I think that's like a small impactful change that's just gonna last the rest of my life, because now I'm not scared of cooking, or I guess I'll never go hungry, right? So it's just nice. I feel like that's helped me a lot, just in my life, just especially with going out too, because I could be a little bit of a recluse, and we're having barbecues or whatever, and I like to cook for a lot of people, so that's like a great way for me to see people. It's like I like food and stuff, cooking, so that helps me see people, and I guess go out more. A lot of times when I even just go out in general, like on a Saturday or on the weekend or something like that, like I don't really like going out to like clubs or bars like that, but dude, I love going out and just like finding like a new restaurant and trying something new. So that for me, just like learning more about food that way has been like pretty impactful in that aspect, that just helps me go out and not be like too reclusive, and I don't know, just have fun. But there's a lot of small changes that you can make, even waking up early, that's a good one. And that one's hard, you know what I mean? But at least it's been hard for me. I've been trying to do a little bit better at work. Now I work I'm gonna have a new shift, and I'm gonna be able to work 7 to 4, or 7 to 3:30 if I take a small lunch. So I think waking up early is pretty good. A pretty good small one that can have an impact, because especially if you work like a 9 to 5, and a lot of those jobs are like 9 to 6. If you wake up at 6 in the morning, you know what I mean, you can get a lot more of your day, because that's one thing that sucks, like when you are working like a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 6, and you get home, traffic and everything, it's 6:37, 6:30, yeah. So it's basically that time, and then you have to get home, right? You have to cook. If you have kids, you have to help your kids with homework, school, whatever you need to help them, and then you still need to try to find some time for yourself. Watch a show or watch TV, or try to exercise, relax, and then go to bed so you can do it all over again the next day. So I think when a lot of people struggle with, jobs, or they don't like, oh, I don't like the 9 to 5 life, like, if you don't have the opportunity to work a different schedule, you just have to make the most out of your work. You know what I mean? So it's just, if you get up early, if you're waking up at 6, you can, and I did this with one of my brothers last week a little bit, wake up pretty early. We went over to the gym. And then I come back, I cook, I had my breakfast, I shower, and then I'm already like up and ready to go to work. You know what I mean? So I already did all those things, showered, I got my day going, and I'm early for work. You know what I mean? So I already did all these things during the day that made me feel good about myself. And now I'm going to work, so instead of like waking up and being like, oh, I have to go to work, like, I've already woken up, I've done things that I wanted to do, we lift weights, running, you could swim, and then so it's almost like you had your activities done, so you took care of yourself first, and then now you're going to do a chore, or your job, or if you don't like your job, you're gonna you're going to work, but you took care of yourself first, opposed to trying to sleep in as much as you can, right? Going to your job that maybe you don't like, and then wasting your day because you didn't do anything earlier, and then you get back home and you don't get any free time or anything like that, and now you're on on the run the whole day. And I think that's a tough thing to do, but I think that's one small change that you could make to help with your life, and then also one that's pretty easy, just like being more relaxed, you know what I mean? Being more relaxed and being just being nicer, you know what I mean? Because there's like a lot of people that are what's so crazy now, it trips me out sometimes, is that people get surprised when you're nice, you know what I mean? It's almost like you can't be nice anymore. Like, people are like, oh, well, you must want something, or oh, well, you're kissing an ass or something, like, oh, now, oh, you're simping, you know what I mean? So now it's just like it's weird to be nice now, you know what I mean? But dude, just being nice, it's I mean, you can't beat it, dude, you know what I mean? Like, if you're comfortable being nice and you're just with other people that are like that, dude, it's so chill. I mean, with the guys from the other podcast, I had never really, other than Dre, I had only seen some of the other guys just like on their podcast, or, they also share, some of our podcasts, and I appreciate that a lot. And, dude, it was weird because these guys I didn't even know, right? And, just because we had something like in common, and, which is the podcast, but, they're also pretty nice, man, and just from that alone, because it was just like, hey, it's like, I like that you're also doing a podcast, or, you know what I mean? So just from them also being nice, dude, it was just like, it wasn't even weird talking to each other. You know what I mean? We were talking about weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like, almost like we knew each other for a long time, and it was like a really casual vibe. And these are guys that I've never met. I had met Dre already, but none of the other guys, we hadn't hung out, and it was so easy because it was, I mean, this podcast really, it's not about me or anything, it was just more for, I think it's cool that people get a chance to, I guess, listen and maybe just laugh and giggle a little bit like that, you know what I mean? Or just remember things, or kind of have like a connection, you know what I mean? It's almost like we're all connected somehow if you're listening to this, or like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that, or oh, I can't. So it's almost like we know each other, and that's kind of how I felt when we hung out on the weekend. It was just like really casual, just we could roast each other a little bit, talk a little bit of trash, crack jokes, and it's people that I never met. So being nice. Ooh, being nice, that's an easy one, you know what I mean? Because now you can't even open the door for someone. I tried to open the door for a girl the other day. She's like, dude, I'm an independent woman. I was like, what? I was like, she's like, stop it. I can open it myself. Don't do it unless I ask. I was like, damn, Gina. So now you can't even do that. So being nice would be another one, another small, but impactful. Just to be thankful, be grateful, for what you have. But remember, brothers and sisters, it's a good thankful. You can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac. So that's dude, because being grateful sometimes, dude, I think that's probably the main thing, dude, that we forget. You know what I mean? It's to be thankful for everything that's happened, even if we're not where we want to be. It's like you just gotta take some time sometimes to just kind of like enjoy the ride, you know what I mean? And we get so caught up in not being happy of where we're at sometimes, and thinking so far ahead that we don't like enjoy what we've already done, you know what I mean? And I had a friend, she listens to the podcast now, I think, but she had just she had bought a house, and she actually sold, she took the offer they made to sell her house, you know what I mean? So I felt, I don't know, I felt good, you know what I mean? Because I know she works like pretty hard and stuff like that, and she was like a single mom. And I was just like, God, I felt more, how does it feel? Like I kind of almost felt like kind of proud. Is that the word? Like proud, or I felt like happy and proud of like, but I had to tell her, it's like, well, hopefully, I said like, good job. Like, I'm not sure if you maybe feel like, oh, it's like, I'm actually going to move now and have to get a new house. Like, I'm not sure if that's like emotional for you, like that you have to do that. But hopefully you feel like proud of yourself, and just like, you feel happy with like your journey that got you to where you're at now. Do you know that you were able to, get a house a while ago, and, get equity in your house, and then sell, and now you're going to move to a different state. Like, I told her, it's like, maybe just, at least be proud of that. You know what I mean? So I think taking the time to soak stuff in like that is, I mean, sometimes it's pretty nice, you know what I mean? And that's that's how I felt too, when I was, when we had Dre on the podcast the other day. And I appreciate all the help, man, that you've been providing and stuff like that. But it was just cool, you know what I mean? Because we were just like messing around and stuff like that when we made this. But it was just cool to kind of like sit back and be like, it's almost gonna be a year, I think, by the end of this month that we've made the podcast. Yeah, so I think like the end of this month, somewhere around there, it's gonna be like a year that we've had the podcast. So around this time is when we were like shooting some of our episodes that we didn't put out because we weren't sure, So that was kind of cool because I just felt like pretty comfortable, and I feel pretty comfortable about talking now and stuff like that. It's like, geez, I'm always gonna be hitting an hour here pretty soon, but yeah, just be thankful for those like small things. Just they say, oh, have a gratitude journal. You know what I mean? They say stuff like that. Oh, why don't you have a gratitude journal? Write down what you're thankful for, and that helps a lot sometimes. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we have so many things, dude, that we didn't even think. Dude, can you imagine? Like, do you remember when we were kids in elementary, right? And we would have show and tell, right? And you'd be like, oh, I can't wait to go for show and tell. And show and tell is like you bring your favorite thing that you have, and you tell everybody why you love it so much. And it's sometimes like now, dude, it's like so hard almost. Like, obviously you can say, hey, I'm thankful for like my family, it's like, that's like the obvious answer that you're gonna say, right? But there's so many other things now that we just like take for granted that we don't even think about. Like, if you think about back when we were younger and we would do like something like show and tell or something like that, you'd take like the dumbest thing, you'd take like a yo-yo, you know what I mean? Be like, hey, this is my yo-yo, I got it, my grandpa gave it to me, and it's special, blah blah blah, it lights up in the dark, it does all this thing. And that little simple thing, something so small, uh meant so much to you. You know what I mean? So something that tiny was just like almost like your most valuable possession. You know what I mean? Like it could be that, it could be what, a car. Remember RC cars, dude, when you had the remote control cars? Or for girls, you know, I'm sure they had Barbies or Brats or the Barbie Corvette. You know what I mean? And remember how cool it's like. We didn't need anything, you know. You had like maybe a video game, and that was like the coolest thing. Oh, a Game Boy Color. You know what I mean? You had something that was like so small, and that was like you were like the happiest, most thankful person for having that like one item. And you know, now that we're adults and you get a chance to have so many things, you have all these things that now you kind of undervalue because you're able to have so much more, you know. And it's like the more you have, uh it's almost like the less gratitude you have, you know. And it happens to all of us. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen to me. Like sometimes I don't feel like, oh, I have enough. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't want more, because obviously, you know, there is part of you that, I guess, if you want to have more, you can have more, but also don't get distracted and just chasing things and not enjoying little tiny things. Just remember, again, to that point when we were kids, you know what I mean? Enjoy something stupid, you know, because that's what we were all doing. We're just enjoying something so small, uh, but it was something that made our day. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, that would probably be it for that. You know, just be thankful. For that, be happy. Maybe try to cook. Wake up earlier. Those are impactful things that you could do. Make a new goals. I mean, set goals. You know, for yourself. I think that's good. Helping others. That's also one of my top ones. Um, Going out of your way to help others. And a lot of times that helps. Like if you struggle, like for me, I struggle asking for help. You know what I mean? But I'm really good at giving help or helping people out. But I'm really bad at asking help. But when I'm helping people, uh, it puts me in a situation where I can ask for help just because we're being honest with ourselves. You know, I'm telling this person, oh, well, what's going on with you? Or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm good at leading that conversation to get a person to, you know, be honest about how they feel and share their feelings with me. But sometimes I wouldn't say it to another person. You know what I mean? So, um, you know, if you're helping others and you're, you know, surrounded by people that are helpful, I think it puts you in a spot to be like more open-minded, or for you, it makes it easier for you to ask for help. You know what I mean? Which, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Oh, you need help with your garden, or you know, your sprinklers, or you need like mental health help. You know what I mean? Like if you're around people that are helpful, like it's going to be easy for you to ask for a favor and things like that, for you to care for each other, because you guys are, you know, you're so open. You're already being kind of vulnerable with where you're at, you know. And I feel with a lot of like mental health and stuff like that, that's going on. And you know, when people commit suicide and stuff like that, and you know, sometimes people feel guilty, like, oh well, you know, he never told me, or I never knew, and you know, I can't believe this happened, we were so close and stuff like that. um it's, I think that's part of it sometimes too, you know. Like it's harder for somebody to be vulnerable when you're not being vulnerable. You know what I mean? So if I'm giving you the vibe that I'm just like I don't know, like a super serious guy, or that I'm like way perfect or above being helped or needing assistance, like even if you're my friend, you know, it's going to make it hard for me to be honest and open up with you to what I need as a person, you know. So I think that's one that could also impact your life a lot, is just being open, more receptive to giving help and being helped. You know what I mean? Because that's before it's like, oh, you know, help the lady cross the street. You know, now it's like, oh well, she's gonna think you know, that she's old. You know what I mean? Mm. But let's see. Well, we're just at the hour. So I don't know if I got anything else to say. I think that was kind of wholesome advice a little bit, you know? It's like the questions that we get, you know, that we get is it always turns into something like advice. So hopefully that helped to little things that you can make bigger changes with. One thing that's cool, I'll say maybe this is wholesome advice, but it'll tie in with what we were talking about. There's one cool thing that and I do this sometimes too from time to time that helps a lot is where when you kind of feel like you're stuck or you're having an issue with like meeting your goals or keeping your goals, like you can write down, you know, like goals you want to accomplish, right? So you know, maybe you want to wake up earlier and you just want to wake up at 5 o'clock now, you know, whatever your goal is. So you write down your goal is I want to wake up at 5. I want to, you know, clean the kitchen. I want to go see my family more. Write a couple of goals, right? And then you set a time, set dates where you're going to accomplish your goal by when it's going to be done. Okay, but you have to write all these down. Now, don't put it on your phone. Write it down. Okay, so you're going to do that, and then you're going to write down why you want to do it, right? So, you know, you want to lose weight. So I want to lose weight because, you know, blah, 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 blah. I want to go to the Mariah Carey concert. I want to look like a boss baby. You know what I mean? So you want to do that, you write it down. And then you're going to write down, you can take a day off. And then the next day, you know, you can write down how it's going to make you feel, right? So you're going to describe how you feel while you're losing weight, you know? So it's like, hey, you know, I'm feeling great about myself. I feel good. You know, I'm going to the gym every single day. You know, it's there's some days where it's hard, but I still go every single day. So you write down almost like you're writing your future, you know, how you're feeling and how this is making you feel about yourself, right? And then at the end you can write down you know, you can take the next day, so the third day you can write down hey, it's, you know, the date that you picked, it's now, you know, August 29th 2021. I met my goal. I feel really good about myself. And you can describe the people that are around you. You know, my mom helped me, or my, you know, my dad, my cousins. I feel really good. I was able to get into, you know, the pants or the dress or whatever that I really wanted to get. I feel great right now. I'm really happy. And I love myself, and I knew that I could do it the whole time. And you just like write down, you know, from your goal to why you want to do it, how you want to do it, and what it feels like when you accomplish that goal. And you can even draw a picture of it, you know what I mean? And dude, I'm telling you, man, that thing, if you do that, that works. That works like, dude, like 100%. I'm not gonna lie, like maybe like 98. But most of the stuff that I've done like that I've like taken the time to write out and then revisit the next day on why that is important to me and how I'm going to achieve it and how it feels like when I achieve that goal. Like all the stuff that I've done like that, dude, I've done. You know what I mean? It just helps you be like honest with yourself. It makes you, it's almost like you write it into existence, but it's really weird. So I'd probably say, hey, I forgot to switch the camera a little bit, but I would probably say that's my wholesome advice. Write down something you want to change at. We had talked about goals. I think the last couple of ones has been doing pounds for hounds, but this not, you know, this is maybe a big goal. You know, maybe you want to buy a house, maybe you want to get a new job, maybe you want to get a new car. You know, maybe you want to lose weight too. Maybe you want to learn how to cook. So just remember, you take that time to write down, you know, what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it, you know, why you're gonna do it, and how it feels like now that you've accomplished your goal. So hopefully that helps. And then the last reminder, also just remember, be thankful for everything. And I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. Check out all the other guys at podcast, man. Dre, Will Wonder, the Lake Talk. 801 podcast, man. Those guys, appreciate you guys too, showing love. Hopefully, I think, well, host will be here. Oh, and then also, hey, if you made it this far, Alice, she's really cool. Fashion, Faucion, hey, Javi never shows up, okay? So I'm letting you know, if you're watching right now, Javi said he was gonna tell you that he was okay with you stealing his job. So message me, because hey, we're friends on Instagram too. So message me if you want to be on the pod, so you can just, Javi's gonna be on paternity leave, so you're obviously much cooler than Javi. And then we can hang out and then have you in the pod too, so we can do some stuff. But you've been I appreciate your support too. You've been following a lot for the pod, so I appreciate it too. Alex too, dude. I know you've been watching it. One of my buddies, Oscar, he just started following, and he was from school. Melissa, I got also from school, that was following. Glocko, he's really cool. He's a cool rapper. So I appreciate a lot of you guys that have followed for so long, man. It's been really cool, and especially some of my old friends, you know what I mean, and some new people too. Shout out to also UA the Duo, those guys. We told, we're working on everything to get more people in here, but I appreciate everybody so far that's been supportive of the podcast. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. This is host Beefy. Follow the podcast, dude. It's supposed to be a comedy podcast, but dude, hopefully it was a little bit funny today, you know what I mean. I had nobody to roast. My dog's over here, I'm going to be nice to my dog, but love you guys. Host Beefy, take care, be nice. Love you, host. And Javi, Cynthia, we want you on the podcast too, a pregnant woman. The only reason we let Javi miss another day, so I love you too. Love all of you, really. But we'll catch you later. Host Beefy, host, and Javi, and I got my dog Sunny right here. And it's Beans and Rice. Catch you later.